Vertical nudging, lifts, conveyor throughput scanners, bendy pipes, blueprint overhauls, and so much more have just been confirmed coming into Satisfactory Update 1.1 on the 1st of April for experimental mode. Today, we'll be breaking down this new video released by Coffee Stain Studios as we uncover secrets and clues as to what else could be expected. I'll be covering all of 1.1 content on this channel, so feel free to subscribe if you so wish, although all support is greatly appreciated. Without further ado though, let's begin. Towards the very end of the teaser, we saw a bunch of rapid-fire features coming into Update 1.1, all of which will be discussed a bit later on. However, I want to talk about this. It only lasts for about a second, but we can very clearly see here that, yes, vertical nudging is finally coming into Satisfactory Update 1.1. Again, the clip is extremely short, but we can very clearly see that vertical nudging is a thing. I am so hyped about this. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that vertical nudging is something that I've talked about for a very long time, and it's finally coming into the game, which is remarkable. So as you can imagine, I'm extremely happy with this, but there is a lot more to talk about today. Another new feature is something to do with these signs. It looks like when you copy and paste these signs now, it automatically faces the right way. This seems possible when you use the copy and paste tool. And if you look at the very bottom here, there also appears to be a snap mode. I don't know if that's new, but either way, that's pretty cool. Everything else though, as far as what I can see, is currently in the game though. Another new feature is left-handed rail signals. So if you want your trains to use left-hand traffic, now you can with these left-hand signals, which is great. Despite this being a small feature, it is still a new addition into 1.1, and I want to try and talk about everything today. So that's still pretty cool. Don't worry, we'll of course be talking about this a bit later on. This might sound like a small feature, but you can now finally place wall holes no matter where you want. At the minute, we already have something a little bit similar to this. And that's something a little bit like this. The conveyor belts go through here, but you can't actually move around these wall holes. Yet, after a very quick analysis of this, we can very clearly see we can now place the wall holes wherever we want for the conveyor belts, which of course is amazing. And here it is in the teaser trailer. You can just about see it there for a few frames, but yes, this is confirmed. And we've had this for pipes now forever, where you can just place a pipe hole wherever you want, but we can finally have that luxury now with conveyor belts. But moving on, you can now destroy crash sites. I've mentioned this now in 2 or 3 other videos. I'm not going to mention it in today's video because I've already mentioned it, as I say, 2 or 3 times already. But yes, you can remove crash sites and you can get parts from it. Feel free to watch one of my previous videos where I talk about this in a lot more depth. New foliage destruction. It looks really cool. Again, this is a brand new thing in Update 1.1 as well. It seems like when you go through these small bushes, or small trees should I say, rather than your Explorer, this is the Explorer, rather than it just like crashing out and acting all sort of weird around it, it just goes straight through. It looks really cool. And yeah, new feature in 1.1 as well. I don't think some people realize how incredible this feature currently is. I mean, it's almost hard to even fathom what's happening here, but essentially it's an auto-connect blueprint overhaul. Originally, you could never do this, but now you can. This essentially means that when you're doing anything involving conveyor belts or maybe even rails for your trains or pipes, it automatically connects onto other blueprints, which, I mean, come on, isn't that just absolutely incredible and time-saving? I do love these quality of life features where they just add a bunch of time-saving mechanics, and this is definitely one of them. And for me personally, this is one of the highlights of the entire trailer, or the entire teaser, should I say. This is amazing. Luckily, the actual teaser for this thing was a little bit longer, so we actually get to see how everything works when you place it down. And just like that, there doesn't seem to be much of a snapping tool, but of course, all you really have to do is press that H button on your keyboard, lock the hologram into place, then you can nudge it, of course now using vertical nudge if you so wish, into place. So yeah, this is remarkable. I'm going to stop talking about it because I think I've said it enough now, but it's cool. It's really cool. Additionally, you got the brand new vents, which we'll talk a bit about a bit later on. You've also got these steel poles and some storage racks, which again, we'll talk about a little bit later on. So there is a lot to analyze from this image, and all of it is good. Additionally, you got the brand new vents, which we'll talk a bit about a bit later on. You've also got these steel poles and some storage racks, which again, we'll talk about a little bit later on. So there is a lot to analyze from this image, and all of it is good. And this is the clip that shows the new gate and all these other features, but like I mentioned, there's quite a lot to talk about, so let's break it down even further, and luckily, Coffee Stain Studios has actually done that for us. But it's safe to say, I am a big fan of this, ha 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 ha, Thank you very much. They are adding fans into Satisfactory 1.0 or 1.1 even. As you can see, there is actually a pipe going into this thing. I don't know if that's just there for looks, or if you somehow have to power this thing using some sort of gas or liquid, but I very much doubt that. Regardless, fans are coming, which is fantastic. I've already mentioned these vents, they are brand new. I've already broken this down in a couple videos now, but yes, it is confirmed that these are vents and that they are brand new. We don't know if they are actually going to act as ventilation, but regardless, the actual aesthetic of it is new at least, which is great. I don't know why I love this image so much. I think it's just the contrast of that green and blue in the background and foreground mixing with like the dark grounds there and the actual new features. But this is a really cool image. Essentially, we've got our cable going from one side to the other. We've also got a sort of like cable bundle, which I'm guessing a lot of people will be using on their bridges, but it's pretty cool to see by the looks of things at least. You could either have one cable by itself, or a few of these support cables actually joined together as a bundle. I actually did point this out in a video recently, so I kind of knew about this, but it's still cool that they have indeed confirmed it. Something else that I mentioned is basically all three of these, although I wasn't quite sure what this one was. We were able to decipher that this pattern up there and this pattern down here were different, which obviously now is very clear to see, but from the original shot that we had on the bridge from a couple weeks ago, it was a little bit difficult to decipher. And of course, we've got this concrete sphere-looking architectural piece, which can be placed both horizontally and vertically as well, which is beautiful. And again, I love architectural pieces. I'll never say no to things like this. I'm guessing you can obviously paint them, which will look pretty cool as well. So I think, again, this is amazing. In this shot right here, we can essentially see all of it brought together. We've also got these blue beams, like these steel bolted looking beams as well, which I've already pointed out in a previous video. We've got the mix of these two architectural pieces. We've got that support cable we were talking about a bit earlier on. The stairs that were introduced in Update 1.0, including this window, which again was introduced in Update 1.0 as well. Something which looks new is this triangular glass. Of course, if this is the case, then yes, it is new. But I really cannot tell from this angle. Let me know in the comments down below. Is this new? Because it looks like, yes, that it is an angled glass wall, which I don't think we have. But it might just be the glass going all the way back around over there, and this cable making it look like it's like a triangle, which it might not be. Also, something else that I believe is new is this. This is an outpost tower, although it doesn't look like what we currently have in the game. Is this just an overhaul and redesign of the original outpost tower? Or, in my opinion, this might be a Mark II outpost tower, and I'm guessing it's going to cost like encased industrial beams or other stuff, I don't really know. But yeah, this does look new to me. So that's pretty cool. In regards to everything else though, I don't think anything else is new. The ladder isn't new. The vents, of course, we've talked about, and the gates there as well, which is brilliant to see. A lot of the architectural pieces coming together very nicely here. Now let's take a very quick minute to talk about this, which is essentially a stopper for the trains, so that the trains don't go flying off the map. And of course, we have got a clip to accompany this. As we can see here, the two locomotives and their carts behind hit this bump, which does cause a bit of a bang, but it doesn't go flying off the map just like that, and of course it derails the train. Regardless, again, this is another incredible feature. The lift. I mean, where do we even begin to talk about the lift? Obviously, we were able to decipher over the last trailer that a lift is coming into the game, but we've got so much new information since then. So let's react to it together. The very first thing to notice is this is the new door for the lift. Also, this is where you can connect the lift entrance to your power supply to power the lift, obviously. And then when you go into here, it appears that these are all the levels that your lift can go to. And it's a 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 25 different floors that you can add onto one lift. And look at all these customization features. Like, you can edit everything here, which is remarkable. So you might be able to notice there's actually a reference here to golf, and there's actually a few references to golf throughout this trailer. I will have a follow-up video coming out within the next week or so, talking a bit more about a theory I've got. But regardless, again, you just look at the floor that you want to go to, and then you just go to it. And of course, you can have just the colors there by itself, or you can have all the icons there. So if you want to go to this floor, you just press it, this floor, you press that, you press that, you press that. It really is that simple, and in theory, why overcomplicate it? It really is amazing. And yeah, don't add factory carts into here, unless you're me, which is definitely going to add factory carts into here. Look at the way you can actually zone these elevators. Look how simple that is. All you have to do is point and drag, essentially. It really is that simple. What an incredible feature that is. And what about if you want to add in an extra floor, you might ask? Well, all you have to do is just select connect the power, obviously, then select where you want the floor to be, snap it into place, and that's it. It is, again, really, really simple. Well done, Coffee Stain Studios. You've designed a really cool feature here. And again, select whatever floor you want to try and go to. Change the music. That's what that is. That changes the music. That's really cool. And then, of course, you then change the floor name, the icon, and the color. Really cool, 10 out of 10, and I haven't even tried it yet. Bendy pipes, look at the bend on this thing, and as we can see, the build mode is officially called curve. This is new, because of course you could curve pipes originally, but I can guarantee it right now, if you try this in update 1.0, if you try making a curve like that, it won't work. This is new. It is incredible, and of course, like I mentioned in my last video, it is so satisfying looking at all of these curves. And of course, you've also got the conveyor belt curves as well. This is a really cool feature. In fact, here's actually a really good clip of the person trying to actually make a curve before the actual curve updates. And it doesn't look as good, whereas now, of course, it does. Not to mention, you can also have like these right-hand turns. I don't know if this is going to maybe cause any troubles with logistic flow. With gas, it should be completely fine, by the way, because there's no head lift and any sort of that involved. But when you're dealing with water or crude oil or any sort of liquid, this might be a problem, although let's hope it's not, because it looks really cool regardless. Also, there's the vent again. Here's a very quick teaser again of those conveyor belts linking up right there using the brand new curve feature. It looks really good, really satisfying, 10 out of 10. So far, I haven't seen anything that looks crap, which is obviously a good sign. As you can probably tell, I'm very excited for this update, but am I alone in this? Do let me know in the comments down below. Are you looking forward to this update, or is it just me? Next up, we have got this bad boy. This is a conveyor belt throughput scanner, where, as you can see, the screws are going on our screen from right to left. This thing scans the amount of screws per minute using these lasers, and it displays how many screws you got going from, again, one side of the conveyor belt to the other. So let's say you're expecting there to be 70 screws per minute, but it only shows 60. This means you've probably made a mistake, and you're going to know exactly where that mistake actually is, because it literally shows you. This really is incredible. And do you remember when Snut was talking about lasers and how we all got excited about the alien power matrix and how we thought that was going to be, or the alien power augmenter? Well, it looks like lasers are actually coming into the game, but not in the way we thought they would. Regardless, this is brilliant. You can also calibrate your conveyor belts as well, just so you know exactly how many items per minute are going from one side to the other. Again, brilliant feature. This is really incredible, and I know I was mentioning this in my last video, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but of course now we got a much better clip of it. And of course we get to see how the calibrating feature works as well, which I will never say no to, and not to mention those lasers as well. I mean, they look really satisfying, but overall, again, another fantastic feature in Satisfactory 1.1. Next up, we've got our brand new priority merger. At the minute, the way this thing's functioning is rather simple. You've got one packaged fuel going onto the conveyor belt, one plastic, and one rubber. But there's a way to change this. Looking at these settings here, our packaged fuel is high priority, so this conveyor belt that's bringing all of our packaged fuel is essentially going to be the only thing going onto this conveyor belt until there's nothing left. Afterwards, because these are both set to low priority, we'll then have 50-50, so 50% will be rubber, 50% will be plastic, but whenever there's a packaged fuel, this will always take priority. So, of course, if you want to have your rubber taking priority, you change this to high, but then if you want it to go packaged fuel, rubber, plastic, you do high priority for the packaged fuel, medium priority for the rubber, then low priority for the plastic, meaning that all these conveyor belts will eventually drain out in the order that you want them to. This is an amazing new feature. And here we can essentially see that thing happening right away. You change the priority to high there for the packaged fuel, and the only thing that comes out is the packaged fuel. You then change the plastic to be high priority, and then it's then one packaged fuel, one plastic, one packaged fuel, on plastic without any sort of rubber actually being added to the priority merger going to the next conveyor belt. So again, it's really cool. It sounds like I'm being like sponsored about how excited I am to play this or to even view this. This is not a sponsored video, I'm just generally excited. Speaking about being excited, oh lord, I mean, this thing is... I mean, I've mentioned this in a previous video a lot, but yeah, we can literally add mergers and splitters, and I'm sure programmable mergers, to our conveyor lifts. Like, it snaps directly onto it. So, for example, right here, we've got the output of a conveyor belt, nice, an output of a constructor. And this will just go straight onto that merger right there, which could eventually merge with all of these other mergers. So, if you are building a vertical factory, and this doesn't excite you, I don't know what else to say. Even if you're not building a vertical factory, this is exciting. This is a really cool feature, and it should be able to work for both conveyor mergers and conveyor splitters, as well as programmable mergers and priority mergers. And even though we knew already that this was coming into the game, it's nice that Mikhail does indeed confirm it, and that all of our dreams, or my dreams at least, are coming true. So that's a massive win for the Satisfactory player base. Of course, I had to talk about this, and it's now got an official name, the Hypertube Branch. This is essentially some sort of like T-way junction for your hypertubes. So if you want to go straight or if you want to go left or right, all you've got to do is rotate this thing around and then you can go in the direction that you still want to go in. We've actually got quite a long clip that does indeed demonstrate this, as well as this T section right there. As we can see, this part, as well as the branch that I just showed a bit earlier, are different. So it's really cool that we've got more than just one sort of T-section coming into the game. Regardless, it's new, and of course, it's incredible. And one thing you might have actually been able to spot when we see this very quick replay right here, and it's coming up in just a moment. Have you spotted it yet? That's right, this curve. It seems like this is something else that is new coming into Satisfactory 1.1. Not only can you curve pipes and conveyor belts, but also the hypertube and maybe even rails. Can you just curve everything? Maybe so. Yes, this is brand new and of course it's fantastic. And here's a very quick clip of the hypertube branch being able to be rotated around. And all you have to do is just place it at the very end of your hypertube. So again, very easy to understand. There is one thing I'm not talking about today, and that is this. This is the photo mode. Essentially, it's been overhauled massively, but there's a reason as to why I'm not talking about it. There is a lot to analyze, so I honestly believe this deserves its own dedicated video. So I'm going to wait until I get my hands on this feature myself, until I actually make a video talking about it, because there is so much to indeed talk about, and I'm just very excited to see it. But that is it for today. If you guys like Satisfactory, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be streaming everything new in 1.1 on the 1st of April. Without further ado, thank you for watching, and goodbye.